I wrote a bunch of notes for this video because I really wanted to make sure that I didn't miss out on anything that I really wanted to say. Before I get too into this video and get carried away, I do want to say that right now I'm in a very good place. So I don't want to scare anyone with this video. I just want to open up about some things that I haven't talked about, basically. There have been a few times I've kind of opened up about my mental health in my videos and on live streams and stuff like that, but I've never really been specific about it. I've always been kind of vague because, I don't know, I guess I was just never comfortable with people being able to classify me or have any sort of like definition of what's going on with me and what my issues are. But I think in order for you guys to really understand what goes on with my mind and what my issues are and how that affects me as a YouTuber, I think I really need to sort of open up and tell you guys what's up. I've struggled with a few issues for a really long time that I've let get the best of me and I've let control my life, but I've decided that I'm not going to let that happen anymore. And I know that sounds really simple. It's like if you have serious issues, you can't just decide that they're not going to be an issue anymore. It's not that simple. And I know it's not that simple. But in this video, I'm going to tell you guys what my issues are, what that means for me as a YouTuber, and what I'm doing about it. So I'm sure at some point you've probably wondered, why does Robert take so long to post videos? Why is it that there's like a week and a half in between a lot of his videos? And it's not because I'm lazy, and it's not because I don't want to make videos. I want to make videos more than anything in the world. YouTube is my #1 passion in the world. And there's nothing I'd rather be doing than making videos. So why is it such an issue for me? Well, it's a really complicated thing, but to start with it, I have ADD. Attention Deficit Disorder. Okay, I'm getting... Holy shit. I was expecting to be able to say that without, you know, being weird about it or anything. I've never said that. I've never talked about that in my videos or on live streams or Twitter or anything like that. Now, I feel like if the average person were to tell you I have crippling ADD, you probably wouldn't really know what to make of it. ADD is a disorder that a lot of people don't really take seriously. I've heard a lot of times from people I know and people I look up to that they aren't convinced that ADD is a real thing, and they think that ADD is just someone being lazy or someone just not doing what they want to do. But it's not that simple. If you don't know what ADD is, it basically means that your brain isn't capable of producing enough dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that makes you motivated to do things. It's the thing that makes you feel good when you accomplish tasks, and it's the thing that makes you want to keep going and keep pushing forward. There have been studies done on mice involving ADD where if they don't have access to dopamine in their brain, they will sit still until they die. Throughout my entire life, it's always been really hard for me to do things, whether it's something that I have to do or even something that I want to do. And this is where it won't make sense to a lot of people. And I can stand here and tell you the stories about in university and high school when I would have an assignment due at Sunday at 11:59 p.m. and I would try to start working on it ahead of time. I'd open it up on Friday or even Saturday, and I would stare at a blank page all day because there was nothing pushing me to do it. I didn't have to do it. So even though I wanted to, I couldn't. But it's not even that simple. Things that I want to do, even something like completing a video game that I wanted to play, that should be something that a lazy person should have no problem doing. But I couldn't get the willpower to go and turn that on and do it, even though it's something that I want to do, something I love doing. Okay, I'm gonna try to get a hold of myself here. ADD is something that you truly cannot understand unless you've experienced it. And there are so many people who aren't convinced that it's a real thing, and I'm telling you right now that it's a real thing. There's nothing I want more in the world than to create videos every single day and be a YouTuber that's always there for you guys, always posting new content. But for some reason, I am stuck doing nothing a lot of the time. It's not that I'm out with friends all the time. It's not that I'm going out and socializing. It's me in my room, sitting at my desk doing nothing for days on end, even though I know I should be working and even though I want to work. I was put on medication for ADD a few years ago. And in certain ways, it did help me a lot. It helped me stay focused and it helped me, stay productive. But there's another side to a medication like that. And I was finding that I wasn't the happy, outgoing person that I usually am to the same extent, A lot of people would be able to tell when I was on my medication because I'd be a bit more quiet. I wouldn't laugh as much. And I didn't like that. So for the last year or so, I've been working on taking less of my ADD medication and, trying to do things to make my situation better because it's more than just medication. There are things you can do to improve your ADD. And I'm going to get to that because right now I am in that battle. So what is it that I do when I'm not working? I sit on my phone. A lot of the time I refresh Twitter and Instagram, not even posting anything, not doing anything, maybe not even seeing anything new. I'll just sit there and basically just do nothing. And I've done this for years. I used to do it with Facebook back when I was like 16. I used to do it with Reddit. There's always been a thing that I stare at on a screen in order to do nothing. And what that is it's my brain taking the easy way out. I could go and send this email that I need to send really badly, or let's just refresh this one more time and just stare at it, and maybe I'll get something new that will distract me from doing what I should be doing. And even though I know it's a bad thing, I succumb to it. And I just fall victim to these distractions that they plague me. And everyone has that. Everyone procrastinates. Everyone, distracts themselves from doing the things they know they should do. But when you have entire days of doing just that, you understand how ADD can become a depressing illness. One thing in my life that's really allowed my ADD to really take control over me is the fact that I work from home. I'm a YouTuber. I'm self-employed. I don't have anyone telling me what to do. As a YouTuber, I have to figure out everything myself, and I have to force myself to work because if I don't show up to work one day, if I don't make a video, if I don't work, there's no consequence. I still have a job the next day. I can be lazy, and I can put in half of the effort and half the time and get away with it. And that's not what I'm choosing to do. I'm just saying that that's what happens. Every day I wake up with the intention of working all day. And so many days I just don't do it because my brain just wants that quick escape and I get sucked into this hole. But if I have a job where I'm working for someone, where I have, a 9-to-5 shift where I punch in and punch out and I'm not doing anything else, I don't have issues. A lot of you guys may know that when I started doing YouTube seriously in 2015, in that summer, I was working 12-hour night shifts in a factory. I would start work at 7 p.m. and I would work for 12 hours overnight straight. And then I'd take the bus home. It would take me like an hour to get home. And then I would go straight to sleep. Well, I'd shower and then I'd go straight to sleep. And then I'd wake up at around 4 again. And then that little 3 hours, sometimes I'd have 5 hours, 3 or 5 hours, I would spend all of that free time working on YouTube. Not a second went to waste. And that is because I had to. That is because if I didn't use those 5 hours, those 3 hours, I wouldn't have any time at all and I wouldn't be able to do YouTube. YouTube is the thing I want to do more than anything else in the world, and it has been since then. But when I had that pressure, when I had that deadline, I was able to work. And even though I know this, I know all of this stuff in my brain and in my heart, for some reason, I can't channel that and use that and stay focused the way that I know I would be if I had deadlines. And that's just another reason people can't understand ADD unless they've experienced it. So that's why I go through these phases where I'm very productive, and then I go through these phases where I'm posting once a week, because unless I have some pressure, like I get fired if I don't make a video, or, I lose, 10,000 subscribers if I don't post a video. Unless I have that pressure, it's like nothing forces me to work. And even though I want to work, I can't. Now, I'm lucky enough to say that I don't believe that I suffer from clinical depression or ever have. I've never been someone that when everything is going right in their life, when they have every reason to be happy, they can't be happy. I'm lucky enough to say that that's never been me. But when these things that I've been talking about with my ADD, when they're happening to me, I can fall into depression so easily. And it can affect me for weeks. It can affect me for months if I don't get a handle on it. And since my ADD keeps me inside all day, not interacting with people, not going out and doing things, it causes so many other issues with my mental health. Most of the depression I've experienced in my life has come from ADD. Most of the anxiety I've experienced in my life comes from ADD. Because when you have an issue, no matter what it is, when you have a major issue that cripples you and you don't know if there's anything you can do about it, all of these issues with depression and anxiety happen. You start to feel not good enough. You start to feel like you'll never reach your full potential. And that's one of the scariest and saddest things that I think a person can have. Because at that point, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how skilled you are. If you don't get to experience that, you get to spend your whole life wondering, what if? And that's been me for the last year. Knowing that I have what it takes to do great things, but not knowing if I have the ability to make it happen. So whenever you see me, usually on Twitter or something, if I'm saying something rude or if I'm upset, a lot of the time it's because of the bitterness and the unhappiness of me feeling like I can't do what I know I can do. I could honestly go on about this for hours and hours. I could spend days talking about this stuff, because when you have ADD, all you do is think. All you do is sit inside your head wondering what the hell is wrong with you and what you can do about it. But instead, right now, I'm going to tell you that I am going to beat this, and I'm going to start now. There are things you can do to improve your brain's ability to make dopamine and lessen the symptoms of your ADD and, live the way that you should. I basically cut out all junk foods from my life. All I eat are whole foods now, basically, and that has helped a little bit. I've been eating pretty healthy for a while now, but, whatever you can do to make your diet better, it can help with that sort of thing. I've also started to wake up early and go to the gym every single day, and I've been working out for a long time on and off, but I haven't really done it recently. I haven't been committed to it. So I think the commitment to waking up early and going for it and working hard, I think that is a big thing in sort of just getting your body used to having discipline and all that. I'm also cutting myself off from my phone. My phone has basically been the devil of my ADD for years now. And I found that with a lot of the things that I get addicted to in my life, the only way to get over it is to cut it out completely. Because of my ADD, I'm not able to just decide to use something less or do the things that are troubling me less. If I don't cut it, it won't work. I got an app that tells me how much time I spend looking at my phone every day, and I have it set to a limit of an hour and a half, so I can't use my phone for longer than an hour and a half every day. Now, I need to use my phone for part of the day because obviously I do have social media as part of my job, and I also have friends that I can't just not talk to at all. So I need to have the ability to use it at some point, but I can't allow myself to have infinite time to stare at nothing. I've also been meditating recently, and I used to meditate a little bit. When I was living with Brandon, I went through a nice phase where I was meditating just about every day, and I did notice that it helped me focus a lot better, and it did help me stay on task better and things like that. But there was a break in my meditation at some point, and I stopped meditating for months, and every single day I would say to myself, I need to start meditating again because that made me feel better. But for some reason, I couldn't do it, and it's another thing that people can't understand is having this great desire to do something and just not being able to do it, no matter how simple it is. But I'm doing it again, and I have done it for the last 3 days, and I'm going to continue doing it every single day. I'm going to do it as soon as I finish filming this video. I'm going to meditate. And with all these things together, with enough commitment and enough discipline, I think I can really get the best handle that I have ever had on my ADD. It's time for me to stop succumbing to my mental illness, and it's time for me to face it head on with everything I've got. I believe that I have the ability to be great and do great things, but it's time for me to do it.